Well, I was at the premiere the other night for the Katrina film, and I know that you all had a great deal to do with that. You want to talk about that for a minute, Terence? What your role was in that, and how you felt, what you experienced in writing that music?
Well, it was a very surreal process for me because, working with Spike for a number of years, I've been accustomed to be just in the role of composer, the person who's going to create the emotional music to kind of tie all of these elements together to create one story. But with this particular thing, I felt very passionately involved because it is my hometown. And when Spike came to me, we were in LA, living in LA, and we were working on the score to Inside Man, and he came to the apartment that I was living in just to work on the music. And the first thing he said to me was, when he walked in the door, he said, "I'm going to do a documentary about New Orleans." And my respect for him went sky high. I mean, I've always respected him as an artist, but I respected him as a man at that point because he was a person who knew the importance of telling the story and letting the locals tell their story, and he wanted to make sure that he gave them a forum to do that. So it was a little different because I wanted to be involved, and I didn't know how I was going to be involved, but thanks to my mother, I became more intimately involved because while we were recording the music, my mom was talking about how she hadn't been in a home yet, and Spike talked to her about shooting her going in the home for the first time. And she agreed, and once she agreed, then Spike, wanted to sit down and talk to me and interview me.
Well, that was a very touching and poignant part of the movie. You're taking your mom back to her house.
It was hard. I mean, it's very hard. It's hard to even talk about now because it's not only my mom's home, but it's our neighborhood, and it's our culture, it's our family, our friends. Just a community. When you go back there and you don't see those folks there, your first thought is, are they okay? And then the next thought is, well, where are they? They have to be someplace trying to survive. And then then you have the subsequent thoughts after that, about what's going on, how are we going to resolve this situation. And how can we tell our story? How can we get people to hear what we're going through? And that's the great thing about what Spike did. He gave these people a forum to talk.
That he did. And I think I read in the paper today that he's going to start doing follow-up programming for this, right?
Well, yes. I mean, as a matter of fact, once I leave here, I'm going to have dinner with him and some other folks who are actually interviewees in the documentary. His thought is that he wants to do a drama based on the lives of people here post-Katrina who are trying to get their lives back on track. I mean, our whole intention is to try to keep the story alive, not let the story die. That's the reason for the documentary. We're going to do an album of the music from the documentary later on this month with an orchestra. So we're going to do our part, and hopefully if the album comes out, that'll be another form to help keep the story alive, and then he wants to do this TV show. And he also talked about possibly coming back and doing a follow-up documentary like maybe 5 or 6 years down the road.
Well, that's necessary, I think.